Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to have the first tasting of my porter with 60L and Husked Carafa II. Now I just finished up the Husked Carafa 1 version of this. After this I will have a side-by-side just to see if we can pick out what that Carafa 2 is doing to this beer. Small batch, 1.25 gallons going into the carboy. 2 pounds 4 ounces of Pale Malt. 3.2 ounces of Crystal 60L. Now, this one uses 2.33 ounces of chocolate malt, then 2.4 ounces of the Husked Carafa II. Now, the 2.33 is because I ran out. I didn't have the 2.4 ounces to put in there. I was a tiny bit short. This uses Northern Brewer, 0.2 ounces of Northern Brewer at 7.4, alpha acids at 60, then 0.1 ounce at Flameout. Post-boil gravity was 1054, which they wanted 1057, but we'll get into that in a minute. So this was bottled on 322, 4.5% ABV. Now, if you watch the Husked 1 version of this, I said, with that kiln so much, I think it takes out the sugar. So you're going to be lower, so you might want to add more, Crystal 40, Crystal 60, base malt to up it. Now, per Beersmith, that shouldn't have been the case. I still should have hit 1057, and I hit 1054, and ABV is way off. 4.5 instead of Beersmith calling for 5.3. So yeah, that is kind of weird. Where's the yeast? I think it's USO or SO4 that I used. Yep, SO4 yeast. So that's not going to attenuate all the way, but still 4.5%. 4.5% ABV. It seems like that should have went a little bit lower. Maybe it was colder, so it didn't. The yeast conked out. It wasn't in the range, the temperature range that it wanted it. But the version 1 of this ended up at 4.11%. But that was because of the gallons. So we're going to go ahead and open this. I am still going to do a side by side because we're just going to see. Small hiss, good smoke coming off there. Hoping this one's darker. Just because the Carafa 2 was the right amount. This head is a little darker, lighter chocolate colored head. Small and medium bubbles, but they're dissipating pretty quickly. Not even a quarter finger of head. Man, that's going to be it. We're going to have to look at it in the side-by-side. I would say it's dark brown, a lighter amber hue at the bottom of this, but it's not black, but it also is a porter. Technically back in the day, supposedly this is what the miners drank so they could go back to work, so they could have a beer on lunch hour, not high in ABV, but still be able to go back to work after lunch. So 4.5 I think is fine. I think if you go back and look at the first couple reviews in this, the ABV was higher, and I was wanting them to be lower. I think 4.5 for a porter is good. You get some of that maybe chocolate coffee taste in there, probably watered down, but you still get that if you enjoy those tastes. So let's go ahead and smell. I think the roasted malt, is a little bit more. I still get a lighter coffee, not as watered down, but that roasted malt is a little bit more intense. I almost want to say sweet, almost like you put sweetener in a coffee, watered down coffee. Yeah, we'll have to tell them the side-by-side, but that roasted malt comes out more in this one than I'm pretty sure it did in the other one. Let's go ahead and taste. Yeah, definitely more roasted malt. More roasted malt, more bitterness. A little bit more than like a coffee roast or a city roast coffee. I wouldn't say like French coffee, not that much, maybe in between. A little thicker beer, which is kind of weird. ABV is higher, so that would mean more sugar's out, so the body should be lighter, in my opinion, or what I've seen in the past. Aftertaste, more a little sweeter coffee, maybe a touch of chocolate roasted malt coffee in there. I'm gonna go back to it again. It's kind of like a brown, but coffee version. Instead of being toffee caramel light, very light coffee, it's more bold in there, especially in the aftertaste. Like that roasted coffee note is very pronounced. Yeah, it's thicker too. That's weird. It kind of drinks the body of it like a very light stout. Like that's what the body of this is, which, yeah, it's weird because usually the higher the ABV, the less body you should have, really, depending, on your grain bill. But it should be thinner because it's pulling out more of the sugars in there to produce alcohol. So you have a lighter body, higher alcohol. And this is higher alcohol, but it's also the body's heavier. You would think the 4.11 body would be thicker than this one. The weird part, it kind of tastes like an extract beer, but the body's thicker. Like that roasted malt would be like a partial mash, then using liquid malt extract. That's kind of what I'm getting left with in the aftertaste. I mean, I could drink it all day. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like a liquid malt extract batch. Like if you had some grains that you're going to steep, you steep them, then you put in light malt extract, whatever you want, liquid. And that's kind of that aftertaste. Like it would be a little bit bolder, but it would be, the body would be lighter. It's almost like if it was a little thicker bodied without as much water, it would be considered a stout with the amount of roasted malt that I'm getting from this. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, definitely good. I would brew this again and drink it. I would keg it probably. Carbonation seems a little bit low again, just like it did in the first version, but we'll have a side-by-side. If you enjoyed this, I will post a link up here if you want to go check those out. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share with your friends, check some more videos out over here, and until next time, happy brewing.